Hi, in honor of the season, I watched the most recent film in the Friday the 13th franchise on the evening of Friday the 13th itself. Or rather, I started watching it. I watched the first half hour quite late in the evening, and I was so bored by it that I found myself having to watch the rest the following day. I watched another half hour in the morning and another in the late afternoon. Um, if you're not aware of the Friday the 13th movies, it's a knockoff of the Halloween film series about another crazed masked killer named Jason Voorhees who attacks and brutally murders the various young people who come to Camp Crystal Lake, a summer camp where he had apparently been killed some years earlier by neglectful camp counselors. And in the first film, his mother goes on a rampage and kills off a bunch of them. But it turns out Jason is in fact still alive and goes on various killing sprees through the many sequels. The later films apparently become weirder, more distinctive, more creative, have an edge of dark humour to them, and seem quite appealing. They just seem to very rarely show up on television or attract much attention on streaming services. So previously, I'd only seen the original film, which I thought was at best passable, and now I've seen the 2009 remake, which I found to be the most generic, uninteresting, boring slasher film it is almost possible to imagine. There were a couple of novel kills of one character being dangled by her feet inside a sleeping bag over a fire, or someone being trapped in a bear trap by his ankle and then apparently trying to wrench his foot off to get free. But the thing that really stuck out is the amount of sex in the film. It has a lot of female nudity, um, none of which is relevant to the movie, um, and it is deployed so often and so um, relentlessly almost that it honestly feels like I'm trying to, I'm being bludgeoned into submission by a series of nude breasts. Not that I'm any kind of prude. It's just the film has nothing apart from nudity and blood and guts, and nudity is fine. But I appreciate having a bit of movie in there as well, a bit of actual intelligence or wit or creativity or anything at all. Um, so this film is pandering to the basest, lowest, sleaziest element in the audience, trying to get them to watch. It feels like unfiltered trash. I'm sure that there are other films in the Friday the 13th series that are of higher quality, are more creative, are more interesting. I haven't seen them yet, but I haven't seen almost all of them, so that's not really surprising. But based on the two that I have seen, this is a dismal little series. The first film is extremely underwhelming and unfrightening, and this film is a hateful little bag of filth, frankly. It's horrible. There is some degree of professionalism from the makers in terms of camera work, basic story structure. So it's not quite down to the level of the first two Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, which I consider to be two of the worst films I've ever seen. Um, but there really is no excuse for something this pathetic. It's a film that existed purely to make money, purely for release on an appropriate um, release date back in 2009. And as far as I can tell, it's been deservedly forgotten. It's horrible, it's garbage, and you should never watch it.